Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am recording mad early in the morning so that I can do this reading. So, welcome to my channel. I'm recording this reading without any tarot. This is basically just information on which planet rules your chart or which planet is dominant in your life. So, doing a little sage here for the reading and a little prayer asking for spirit and guides, universe to watch over our reading and give us some cool information about which planet dominates or rules your birth chart, or basically your life, influences your life the most. I'm a huge astrology nerd. Everybody knows that. I have been into astrology since I was basically 8 or 9 years old. 9 or 10 years old. I want to say 9 or 10. I was into astrology as soon as I heard about it. I don't even remember how I heard about it, but I've always been huge into zodiac signs. But the connection for me was a mental connection because I always connected it with the psychology of people. And I've always now understand that I view it in terms of archetypes. We are all archetypes, just like you have the male archetype and the female archetype and the energy that goes with male and female archetypes, even though we're all different versions of male and female, but the archetype of being male and female. Same thing with like the archetype of a teacher. There's so many different kinds of teachers, but they all do the same thing. They're all teachers. So, I look at the zodiac in terms of archetypes. Aries is an archetype. There's all different kinds of Aries, but the archetype is the same. So, and the planets that go along with it and their influences, based on what we've learned, in terms of our human understanding of things, is the same. So, this is going to be pretty cool. I mean, again, these are just for entertainment purposes, and I just thought it was a really cool reading to do. These are all things that I've just basically researched and written down. I mean, it's kind of like my own oracle deck without me being all fancy and extra. I'm just recording it because I think it's pretty fun and interesting as well, because even I've always wanted to step outside of all of the mechanics of astrology, because astrology is a lot. I mean, you could spend the rest of your life learning new things about astrology. There's so much to learn. And again, I've been a nerd into astrology since I was 10 years old, and we're talking many, 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 many years, okay? And there's always still more to learn. I mean, just last week I just learned something new, and I'm like, wow, this, so that's cool. It's never boring, and I guess that's the Mercury part of my chart. I do have a significant Aquarius placement on my chart, even though I'm an Aries. I'm Mars ruled, and my Mars is in Aquarius. So, I have that Aquarian energy that kind of is very dominant on my chart, obviously, because I've always been very unconventional and very, very, very focused, even from childhood, without even knowing the things that I know today, just naturally inclined to being the misfit and being the different one and being eccentric, and just having that Uranus energy dominate my chart. I'm going to, you can even pick two, you can pick three. Now, the thing is with these piles, there's a lot. So, I don't have my camera mounted anywhere special or anything like that. So I'm just going to give you a quick view for those who are more visual to look at the, there are 9 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards, actually. There are 10 cards. You can see my brain is like forgetful. But I'm going to show you just a quick preview. There's nothing fancy about these cards. I didn't put any items on it. So if you choose based on visual, you're going to choose based on a color or maybe the placement of where the card is on the lineup. And if you're doing it audiently, and you just think you hear something in your head pop in your head as far as a number, again, there are 10 piles. So you're going to pick 1 through 10, a number, pick a number 1 through 10. And whichever number or numbers that you pick, I would recommend not doing more than 2. I would recommend not doing more than 2 planets because we're talking about what dominates your chart, not your actual chart. Okay, we're talking about what dominates your chart, and the planet that influences you the most, or the planets that influence you the most. I wouldn't do more than 2 because we're talking about an influence, and an influence is not like, an influence is yes, all 10 can influence you. Obviously, we're influenced by all of the planets. We're influenced by energy. We're influenced by so many different things in terms of, how we think and make choices in our personality. We're influenced by how we're raised. Obviously, I mean, there's psychology behind everything, but without getting too deep in it and overthinking, I just wouldn't recommend doing more than 2 selections because then you're just getting a little way too complicated, and really we usually only have like 2 dominant ways of being, because even like, to me personally, even with your birth chart, your sun and moon are, to me, the most dominant parts of your chart. They kind of dominate the most, in terms of like, because the sun represents to me represents your character, and the moon represents the heart. So it's like your heart and your character kind of dominate, because I feel like the heart is like important. It's the bridge in your chakras. It's it's about love, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what it all boils down to. So again, I wouldn't recommend more than 2, but you can do 3, but definitely don't like just be like, oh, I'm just gonna look at all of them. But you can. I wouldn't recommend it. You can do whatever you want to do. It's not for me to tell you how to be, but I wouldn't recommend doing more than 2, maybe 3. You're like super, interested, because then you have like on a regular birth chart, you have your sun, moon, and rising. And with your sun, moon, and rising, the rising is really, really, really important. And a lot of people don't know their rising, because in order to determine a rising on a zodiac chart, you have to know what time you were born. And not a lot of people know what time they were born, especially when you're looking at, and other types of birth certificates. I know some countries have a different way of cataloging the time. As a mom myself, I don't always remember what time. I wouldn't remember off the top of my head what time my kids were born. I mean, I'm in my 40s, and that's just like the amount of mom brain that I have right now. It's like, yeah, it's just not. You're the most significant part of the birth is the birth. So anyway, but again, so I'm going to give you a preview of the piles. I've been talking and chatting. So the preview of the piles, and I'm going to put all the timestamps below, of course, like I always do. So you don't have to listen to everything. You can click right on the timestamp that you want for the selection that you make. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to show you the piles. Okay. The pile selection. Okay, so the pile selection is as follows. So we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, pile 5, pile 6, pile 7, pile 8, pile 9, and pile 10. Okay, so pick a number pile for what you want. Again, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, pile 5, pile 6, pile 7, pile 8, pile 9, and pile 10. Okay, so those are the pile numbers and colors for the piles. you know, if you're making a determination based on color, but this is basically the piles. So I'm going to put the timestamps below in my notes, obviously, but you know, you got pile 1 yellow, pile 2 blue, pile 3 pink, pile 4 yellow, pile 5 pink, pile 6 pink, pile 7 yellow, pile 8 blue, what's kind of like a teal, I guess, teal green. Pile 9 is regular blue, and pile 10 is like a teal green blue. So yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna write the timestamps down as I'm recording so that I can put them in the notes for you. And now we are going to dig in, okay? So we have pile number 1. Those of you who chose pile number 1 and those of you ready to start the reading, pile 1, here we go. Okay, those of you who chose pile number 1, and these are not in order, obviously, because, you know, I'm not going to go by the planetary order if you're going to go by the laws of attraction and pick a card. So, all right, so pile 1 is Pluto. All right, so you are ruled dominantly by the planet Pluto. Now, you know, planet Pluto is the furthest away from Earth. Okay, the planet Pluto is all about transformation. It's all about depth. It's all about deep thinking, deep feelings. It rules the planet Scorpio. It's concerned with raw truth, sexuality, obsession, the esoteric, the hidden, the unknown, I mean, it's a little bit about the dark side, you know, not that you're necessarily a dark person, but you're not afraid of the darker aspects of life. You're not someone who shies away from the difficult aspects of humanity. And you are someone who is considered a very sexual being as well. So, you know, Pluto is the type of planet that also deals with, again, the depth of things. So you are, you know, having Pluto kind of dominate your chart, you are able to see through a lot of bullshit, a lot of BS, basically. You can see through the masks of things. You can look at the psychology of things. You can understand. You want to know the inner workings of things and see deeper than beyond, you know, the surface level of things. You don't look at things from just the surface level. And so, again, it rules the planet Scorpio. You don't have to be a Scorpio. You don't have to even have that on your chart. You could have it somewhere in your synastry. You can have it somewhere in your placements or your houses. But without knowing all of that, you know, you're dominantly ruled by Pluto. So you have a lot of the characteristics of that particular placement. So with that in mind, some cool affirmations. Now, I got these affirmations, which I get a lot of information. A great website is Llewellyn.com. Okay, and it's a weird spelling. It's www.Llewellyn, Llewellyn. Llewellyn.com. It's a great esoteric site. There's all kinds of information on there. But the site did cool affirmations for like different planets. So I kind of wrote those on here for you guys. Affirmations for Pluto. There's a ton on there. If you want to go on the site, and I'll put that down below so that you can check it out if you want as well. It's Llewellyn.com. You know, affirmations for planets. You just put which planet you want affirmation for, in your case, Pluto. But two that I thought would be great to share for my video is for Pluto dominant people. I am strong and powerful, and I live life to the fullest. Those are two affirmations that kind of sum up those who are Pluto dominant, in terms of the influence, the planetary influence for you. You are a Pluto dominant person. So, yeah, so that's it for those who chose number one. So you're Pluto dominant. And there's a ton of information out there about the influences of planet Pluto. If you want to do a little bit more research, I'm a huge research person. I'm always researching. I'm always thinking and just, just loving to use my brain. And so, yeah. All right. So now we're going to go to pile number 2. All right. So pile number 2, are you ready? The card is Neptune. Those who chose number 2 are Neptune dominant, okay? If you chose pile 2, you are Neptune dominant, okay? Neptune is, think about it in terms of mythology. He rules the ocean. He is the ruler. The planet rules Pisces. It's this beautiful blue planet that I just think is, one of the prettiest planets to me because I love the color blue. But it rules Pisces. And those who are Neptune dominant are dreamers. You are mystical. You are psychics. You are the ocean vibes. You're the mermaids. You're artsy, creative, romantic, compassionate. Kind of a lot of the characteristics that go with Pisces. Also very deep, but deep in all aspects, not just, deep in terms of, understanding the darker side of life, deep in understanding the darker side, deep in understanding the lighter side, deep in terms of understanding the just everything. It's, you got Neptune ruled people are extreme, but you're driven by compassion. You're driven by all of the lessons of humanity in terms of emotions and art. It is a very artful placement, like just naturally, even if you don't create art, you are naturally an artist. You're naturally just super creative and naturally super compassionate and naturally super romantic, but like kind of romantic. So it's like, it gives me vibes, but it's also very like mermaid vibes. It's very like ethereal. Yeah, ethereal. Floaty, and just the ethers and the ocean, and how the ocean is almost, it has a mystery to it too, because we have only, we've been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and we've never explored the entire ocean. And we have made so many advancements, and still it's just constantly an exploration state of learning and learning and learning and learning. So Neptune ruled people, yeah, you have a sense of mystery about you. You have a vibe about you that is kind of like, mysterious, ethereal, otherworldly. People will try to place it into something that they can understand, but it's otherworldly. It's like almost unknowable, even for yourself sometimes, probably. But it's but it also is a cool placement for you creatively. So being so otherworldly in a human form, the best representation of that is art, because you can express, artistically things from that otherworldly perspective, that other realm perspective, because the ocean is basically another realm that we can see, like with our physical eyes. There are other realms that we can't see with our physical eyes. We can sense it, with our sixth sense, but the ocean, we can see it. We go there and we're like in awe of the ocean. Space is another one, but it's another realm. It's like completely another realm. And the way to bring that other realm in your Neptune realm. Neptune ruled is, art, obviously. So find your art, whether it's music, just Neptune dominant people, the music and the art that they create is just like, wow, like you benefit the world with your art. So that is your purpose, basically. So basically that's your purpose. Bring some kind of art into the world because it will benefit us, because the human realm will be benefiting from the otherworldly realm with the Neptune energy, that's just from me, what my recommendation is. Now, a couple of affirmations that I got for Neptune ruled people is I am a spiritual, compassionate person. Okay. And I am a mystic. Okay. Those are the two affirmations I think sum up the most for Neptune ruled people. Yeah. I am a spiritual, compassionate person. And I am a mystic. Okay. So yeah, Neptune ruled, that's the card for you. So yeah, so that's pile number 2. Okay. Now we're gonna go to pile number 3. Okay. So pile number 3 is Uranus. Uranus. And ironically enough, I picked this pile too. So, and I didn't know where this was placing. So, and I still picked pile number 3. And ironically, I'm a 3 life path. So that's a whole nother video, numerologically. Yeah. But yeah, Uranus, I'm dominant Uranus. We, pile 3, where my pile 3 people's at, dominant Uranus. We are the misfits. We are the eccentrics. We are the, it rules Aquarius. So we are the forward thinkers. We are the innovators. We are the people who think outside of the box, eccentrically. We are unique, one of a kind. Everyone is unique and one of a kind. I'm not trying to be like, hey, I'm so special. No, you know what I mean? We're all unique. No one person has the same fingerprint. But Uranus ruled people, we are probably all starseeds. Honestly, I know I'm a starseed. Most Aquariuses, let's just face it, you're like, you can't be from this planet. And I've never felt that way. This is even from when I was a child. I've always been the misfit. But let me just take myself out of it. So just focusing on what I wrote for Uranus. Okay, for Uranus. Okay, so Uranus is, it rules Aquarius. Uranus ruled people are unique. You're unconventional. You are expansive. You have this energy that is just universal. It's, everything. It's not, but from like, again, a space, almost a space aspect, you know what I mean? Like from the universe, not just even Earth, but like all planets, all aspects of the universe, from the clouds to the dust, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of expansive energy you are. Uranus ruled people are humanitarians. They are all about the world at large, not just you and I. Uranus ruled people obviously can be very personal, as you look at a lot of Aquarians like Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jordan, or people who are very like they can be very one-on-one. But Uranus, because Uranus ruled people are more expansive and more about like everyone, the whole world, it can sometimes be difficult to deal with the one-on-one stuff because of like, Uranus ruled people tend to be more detached. They tend to be more, observant, but in a detached manner, like a scientist, basically. Uranus ruled people are very scientific in the way that they look at things, in the way that they catalog details in life. They're like I kind of want to say Dr. Spock, but yeah, kind of like Dr. Spock a little bit, but not very emotional in that sense, more in terms of, just a scientific approach to things, looking at things from a detached manner, but without involving too much emotion, more so, you know, but also in a way that's unique and different. A Uranus ruled person is going to bring a perspective that's very unique, very different than the norm, because Uranus ruled people don't think in earth terms. They think in terms of the universe. They think in terms of they get that universal energy that comes in. Uranus ruled people are also, because they think in terms of all of humanity, they are very generous. Again, humanitarians, philanthropists, they, are about the oneness of all things, animals, plants, dust, flowers, clouds, and also extremely open-minded, obviously, because the scientific mindset of Uranus ruled people is that we know a lot, but we don't know everything. We could never know everything because there's just always more to know. It's like there's this meme that I love. It's one of my favorite memes. I need to get a t-shirt with that meme, because it is basically saying, like, there's like this gigantic universe, and then there's like a sliver, and it says what we know. And then it's like another big part of it that says what we don't know. And then like a gigantic part of it that says what we don't know that we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's how Uranus ruled people think. And very out of the box, just Uranus ruled. If you're Uranus ruled, it, like I said, you're not from this realm, so you're gonna always think and dress and speak and behave and move very unique, very differently, and understand the importance of being unique and being different. And so therefore you are more accepting of people and their differences, because you've always been different. You understand what it means to kind of be the black sheep, or to be the oddball, or the one who thinks differently. And it's just who you are. It's just, it just comes naturally, and you just live your life. But it is a value to the world. So some of the affirmations that I wrote for Uranus ruled people is, I am one of a kind. Okay. And another affirmation is, I care for humanity. I feel like those two things kind of sum up Uranus ruled people. So, so that's Uranus ruled. So now we're going to go to pile number 4. Okay. And pile number 4 is Mars. Mars ruled people. So those who chose pile number 4, your dominant planetary influence is Mars. Okay. So Mars ruled people. Now I understand Mars because I'm an Aries. That's my character, right? So even though I'm ruled by Uranus, even though I'm an Aries, I'm ruled by Uranus. So whatever your sign is, it doesn't matter. You are dominated by Mars, the planet Mars. Okay. Now the planet Mars is associated with the god Aries, which is the god of war. Okay. So Mars ruled people, your dominant energy is to be action oriented. A dominant Mars dominant person will fight you. It doesn't have to be physically, but it could be. They will be violent sometimes. They will fight. They will argue. They will debate. They will stand up for themselves. They will stand up for others. They will be the hero. They like fast energy. Again, it rules the planet. It rules Aries. It represents the god Aries, the god of war. Mars ruled people move quick. They like being on the go. They tend to be assertive, aggressive, but yet they're also open. They're friendly. They're very honest. They tend to take the lead. They like to, they'll run out the door and get it done. Very action oriented. They're not just want to sit and philosophize about it and overthink it. No, they just take action. They can be impulsive. Sometimes if you're Mars ruled, you can be a little impulsive. Just take action and not really think about the consequences. Obviously as you get older, it'll get better, but for the most part, if you're Mars ruled, you are a get it done person, and you're action oriented, and you stand up for yourself. You stand up against bullies. You stand up for other people. You defend your friends. You will defend. You're the defense attorney. You are the, you are the person who will fight. You are fighters, warriors. Okay. So it's important to work with that energy, but work with it in a way that's not going to harm yourself too much, unless of course that's just part of um, your soul contract, basically, to be here. But if you're Mars ruled, you work with that energy of taking the initiative and not being afraid to step forward and get shit done. Okay. So that's great, because we need that. We need someone who's going to step forward, people who are going to be the warriors, the commanders, the those who have the courage to defend those who are defenseless, against bullies, against people who are doing stuff they have no business doing. Mars ruled people will do that, and that is your calling on the earth. So keep that in mind as you go through your navigation of things and of life. Okay, so I wrote down these affirmations for Mars ruled people. Number one, I am a pioneer and a leader. So those are two. That's an affirmation you can say. I am a pioneer and a leader. And number two is I am passionate about living, because Mars ruled people are passionate. They embody passion. They are the king of wands. They are the in the tarot, they are the wand energy. It's fire. It's a fire energy. Mars is the red planet, is ruled by the god of war. Okay, so now we are going to pile number 5. Okay, so number 5, I'm just writing down the timestamps for you guys. Pile number 5. Those who chose pile number 5 are ruled by Venus. Look, Venus and Mars are together, and they are like opposite signs. It's so funny because again, I shuffled. I didn't look at how things were placed, but yeah. So those who chose 5 are Venus ruled. You are ruled by Venus. You think about the planet Venus. Venus is all about beauty. Venus sign rules Libra and Taurus. Okay, but I feel mostly Libra. But Venus ruled people are graceful. You're into aesthetics. You're very feminine. You're all about harmony and love and kindness, everything beautiful about life, the beauty of everything, the beauty aspects of everything. You are sometimes, the flip side is you can be a little too passive. Passiveness is like almost like, how can you fight a feather? You can't. It's going to keep just kind of like being a feather and just like not, that's kind of Venus ruled energies. They're not about that. They're about being the feather. They're about being, this light, airy, beautiful part of life. And, the opposite of the Mars energy. That's why I laughed, because they're together. It's like, it's the yin to the yang, you know what I mean? So it's, not big assertive, but a Venus ruled person will stand up against injustice, because injustice is ugly. Injustice is not aesthetically, it's just not right. It's just, it's the ugliness in the world. And so, yeah, they will stand up against injustice. They will stand up against things that aren't right, but in a way that is dignified, in a way that is not ugly, because Venus is, again, about the beauty. It can be a little too, especially if the Taurus side can be a little too hedonistic, too hedonistic into, feeling good and eating good and looking good and smelling good. And, just that's life, but there's more to life than that. But, I'm not here to judge anybody. So listen, that's how your chart is ruled. That's why you are the way that you are. You love to feel good, to eat good, to look good, to smell good, to have beautiful things surround you, to own beautiful things, to drive beautiful things, to live in beautiful places. That is that's your dominant energy. And those things are very necessary in the world. We need the aesthetics of things. We need beauty, because life can sometimes be very ugly. I mean, you sit and have a conversation with a Pluto ruled person, they will be happy to focus on the dark and the ugly aspects of life, the horrors of life. So let's balance that out with the beautiful things of life, the things that that life is also very beautiful. There's so many wonderful things to celebrate in life, so many beautiful, wonderful things. Venus ruled people can also be very charming. Very, they're very graceful. Like, they're the guests at the party. You want to go to their parties. You want to be surrounded by the wonderful things that they bring to you in life, that are beautiful, so that you can experience life to the fullest. So, two affirmations that I wrote for Venus ruled people is I relate harmoniously with everyone. Okay. And the second is I create beauty in all my endeavors. So Venus ruled, I feel like those two affirmations sum up, your basic energy, and the wonderful beauty that you bring to the world that is so necessary. My mom was a Libra, my daughter's a Libra. I have a lot of Taurus family members, and that's the wonderful aspects that they are. They're so, they have this is just beauty to them. It's just, and they bring beauty to the world, and we need it. So so that's Venus rule. All right, so now we're going to go to pile number 6. Okay, so pile number 6, just write that down, is Saturn. Saturn ruled people. So if you chose pile number 6, you are ruled by Saturn. Look, I just sat up straight because Saturn ruled people are it rules the zodiac sign of Capricorn. But Saturn ruled people are very disciplined. Saturn ruled people are wise, they're responsible, they're reliable, determined, cautious, practical. They're hardworking, they work hard, they're loyal to their family, they support the family. They're very family oriented. They are dependable, they're ambitious, they are the corporate climbers. They are the corporations. They are the backbone of society. The titans of industry, type of thing. That's the Saturn energy. Saturn energy is, they build, and you as a Saturn ruled person. Again, you have your integrity, but you also have a wisdom about you, an intuition, a gut feeling about things. And life hasn't been easy for you. You guys have had to climb several ladders and overcome several different things in life. So you are basically the reliable people that people can count on. But also, it's not like you're all seriousness all the time. A lot of Saturn ruled people, they have a sense of humor, but it's usually a very dry sense of humor, very because they're so wise and disciplined. It represents the elder, it represents the oldest child, or the father. Saturn is considered the father of the planets. It's considered the father energy. So it's the person, the Saturn ruled person. They, not that they're completely serious, they can have fun, but they need to relax more. That's the whole point, is you can. I mean, you're a human being. This is just one aspect of the planet, but because you're so heavily influenced by Saturn, it's probably really hard to relax. It's probably really hard just to kick back, and you don't even really have a desire to, because you're striving, you're trying to reach goals and things of that nature. So that's the influence of Saturn. That's the responsible, practical part of Saturn, and that's your journey here on Earth, and we are grateful for it. I know as a Uranus ruled person, I need the Saturn energy to kind of like, yes, I break out of the boxes, but I need the boxes to break out of, you know what I mean? So but we need our rules, we need our structure, basically. So we have the Saturn energy for structure. Sorry, my cat. But we need the Saturn energy for structure. We need the Saturn energy for the reliableness, the responsibleness, the determination, the ambition. That's all important. All aspects of this are important. So but yeah, so that's the Saturn energy. So it's all about getting things done, but in a very structured, strategic, disciplined way. I always say that like the Capricorn energy is the CEO. Okay, the Aries energy, the Mars energy is the manager, the boss, but the Saturn energy is like the CEO, okay? Because Saturn energy also is very strategic because they are, Saturn ruled people are very, they see all the aspects of things. They see the big picture, but in a more strategic way and in a more shrewd way. So they usually have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E, a plan F, and a plan G. Okay. So that is Saturn ruled energy. And some affirmations that I wrote down for Saturn ruled energy. Number one, affirmations you can say is I happily care for all of my responsibilities. And number two is I am practical and responsible. Okay, those are two affirmations that I feel like sum up the Saturn ruled energy. Okay, so now we're going to pile number 7, which is the sun energy. Okay, so if you chose pile number 7, your dominant energy is from the sun. Now when I say the sun, it could be your sun sign, like whatever your sign is that you were born into. If you were born into a Gemini or a Cancer or Virgo, Sagittarius, that's your dominant traits. And then you also are dominated by the sun's energy. So make sure you are channeling the sun energy. You're getting up and feeling the sun on your skin whenever you can, absorbing the energy of the sun. The sun rules the sign of Leo. Okay. Astrologically speaking, the sun rules the sign of Leo. So Leos have an inner light. Okay, the sun ruled people have an inner light. Sun ruled people have a sunny disposition. They attract attention, can be flamboyant, loyal, creative. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, so sun ruled people have a sunny disposition. Sun ruled people attract attention. They can be flamboyant, very loyal, creative, talented, driven people, very confident, sexy, strong, just basically rock star energy. You light up a room. You have this energy that is just light and passionate, but like in a sunny way. You know what I mean? You just shine bright, basically. The sun is a star that we rely on for life. It's a source of energy. It's a source for all of us. So any room that you are in, you are going to be the source, basically. It's that Oshun energy, that just energy of Apollo. It's the energy. So sun ruled people are noticeable. You can't help but be flamboyant, even if you're just wearing something basic. There's something about you that just shines. Okay, so but the thing is, you also have to be careful not to burn yourself out, because you are only human. So I noticed that a lot of sun ruled people have to be careful of the tendency to not overdo it in terms of their energy, and in terms of going over the top. There is a such thing as imploding, because again, you're only human. But the sun energy is obviously necessary. You need to have some sun energy. We need our superstars. We need our light bringers. We need those who are going to just be the sun. You know what I mean? We need that. No matter, all throughout history, we've always had those who are our stars, who are our people we look up to in terms of just embodying this it factor that sun dominant people tend to have. So some affirmations that I wrote for sun dominant people, you may have great hair or do great things with your hair. Let me just put that out there too. Your colors are obviously yellow and orange and red. The sunny colors are the colors you want to gravitate towards. And your affirmations that I wrote down for sun dominant people is I am a vital and dynamic person. Okay, because you are vital. Okay, we need sun ruled people. Okay, look who showed up to the party, by the way. Wasn't invited, but there they are. Anyway, sun ruled people. Another good affirmation is I am a beautiful and totally miraculous person in all ways, right? Because yeah, you're sun dominant, so you have this air of bringing life to situations, bringing life to lifeless situations. We need sun ruled people to help out in drab situations, maybe at nursing homes or, hospitals. We need the sun ruled people to come in and bring that energy of the sun, that inner joy that comes from sun ruled people, the fabulousness, the flamboyance. If they're going to plan something, you have the Venus aesthetics of it, and then you have the sun aesthetics that's going to be just over the top, flamboyant, and we need that. Okay, those are rock stars. That's the rock star energy that is just like boom, we love it. Okay, so that's for pile number 7. Okay, pile number 7 is the sun. Now we have pile number 8 we're coming to, and those who chose pile number 8, your energy is coming from the planet Jupiter. Okay, now Jupiter is a planet of expansion. It is a very big planet. It rules the zodiac sign of Sagittarius and a little bit of Pisces because it co-rules Pisces with Neptune. Jupiter ruled people are just lucky. Okay, you have a luck about you. Jupiter ruled people tend to be adventurous, optimistic, jovial, funny, travelers, love to travel, love to jump on a plane, explore the world. They're explorers, natural teachers. Jupiter ruled people are adaptable, very generous. They just have a magnanimous way of being, just big, givers, multicultural. Jupiter ruled people love to learn about different cultures because they are the travelers. They are the ones, the Anthony Bourdain people, the people who see the world as explorers. They want to explore the world and find new areas of the world. Tend to be philosophical. So, a lot of Jupiter ruled people are actually very great teachers because they are they have a curiousness about them, but they also have, ultimately, Jupiter ruled people are philosophers. They are the thinkers who kind of, look at the philosophy of life, the religions. A lot of Jupiter ruled people are interested in learning about all different kinds of religions. They are interested in, seeing the spirituality and the philosophy of life as it expresses itself through religions or spiritual beliefs, and kind of combining that. So a lot of Jupiter ruled people, if you're Jupiter ruled, yeah, that's something that's fascinating to you, and lean into that because we benefit from the Jupiter philosophy of things. But Jupiter is also the planet that brings luck. Jupiter is a planet that gives you the leg up, basically. So you also, it's a big planet. So you do things big, you think big, you make big plans. Walt Disney was a Sagittarius. Jupiter ruled people have big plans. They see the big, way of doing things and making it into a bigger structure and looking at the philosophy behind it, though. They have the vision. They're visionary. Jupiter ruled is a visionary. Uranus ruled is visionary too, but you visionary in terms of more like the universe. Jupiter ruled is more visionary in terms of like the world, all the cultures, all the different aspects of the philosophies and the religions of the world in that sense. Because there is a spirituality to Jupiter, but it expresses itself through philosophy. The I think, therefore I am, all of the, philosophies and how and whys goes along with that Jupiter energy. And listen, Jupiter is a planet of luck. So a lot of Jupiter ruled people may like to gamble. They may like to, go to the casino. They may like to, try their luck, so to speak. But very jovial. You know what I mean? Jupiter ruled people are comedians. They're very funny. They have a jovialness about them, this joy, this optimism, which is great because no matter what they see and what they philosophize about, they're just the optimists. They're the look on the bright side people. They're the Annies, the sun will come out tomorrow type of a mentality. So we need that in the world. Obviously, we have the Jupiter ruled people who help us to have a Disney World, to have that optimism that we need when things sometimes can get dark. So 2 affirmations that I wrote for Jupiter ruled people. The first one is I attract all good things. Okay, and the second one is my enthusiasm and optimism knows no bounds, which is great because we need that enthusiasm, we need that optimism in the world. Okay, so that is pile number 8. Those are my Jupiter ruled people. We are going to pile number 9. Okay, so those who chose pile number 9, you are Mercury ruled people. Okay, so Mercury rules zodiac signs of Gemini, first of all, and Virgo. Okay, so Mercury ruled people. Mercury is a planet of logic. It's a planet of intellect. It's a planet of great communicators, people who can talk to anyone about anything and they can express. They are the throat chakra people. So how ironic that this card is blue, because the throat chakra is blue, right? They are clever, they're witty, they don't like to be bored. They like to constantly be learning and taking in information. They like games. They also have a tendency to overthink. They may have energy that's scattered because they're all over the place. They have a million different projects going on because they are always thinking and planning and using their noggin, and just very, very intellect driven people. But they also have the mood shifts because of that. Mercury, just like the expression being mercurial, Mercury goes up and it goes down. So they sometimes have mood shifts, but also very adaptable. They kind of like can adapt to anything. They can be the jack of all trades. They can, play the piano and do a science project. They can, make up jokes, and they're usually very funny, very witty, very clever. Great rappers, great poets, writers, just the thinkers. Not necessarily always deep thinking though, because a lot of Mercury ruled people, they think in terms of the ability to communicate. So Mercury is a planet that has to do with like the news, bringing information to the masses in social media. You know what I mean? They do the sound bites, they do the 3-minute clips, they do the 10-minute YouTube videos, they do the quick tutorials. It's just like a quick overview type of a thing. Just, hey, by the way, type of a thing. Mercury can also be about gossip. It can be about, creating drama just for the sake of being bored type of thing. So that's something to avoid. But mostly also, learning to focus, because again, Mercury can be all over the place. But those ruled by the planet Mercury dominate communication in all forms. So, communicating verbally, communicating on the phone, communicating via the internet, communicating in all forms of communication. So, and also it rules the internet, intellect, and logic. Okay. Those who are Mercury ruled, if you're Mercury ruled, you are a logical person. Things have to track for you mentally. You just have to see the logic behind it. It can't just be emotion. It can't just be the drama. It has to be something that makes sense. It has to translate logically. Your brain just doesn't work that way. I mean, you acknowledge the esoteric, you acknowledge the spiritual aspect of things, you know that things go deeper, but you are very scientific too, in the sense that it has to make sense. There has to be some logic to it. There has to be, where A leads to B leads to C. There has to be something that tracks logically. You think logically, naturally. That's just how all Mercury ruled people are. You are logical thinkers. Um, and you like to think. That's kind of like your favorite pastime, just to be in your head and to bring it out into the world through your wit and your cleverness, cleverness. So 2 affirmations that I wrote for Mercury ruled people. The first one is, I am brilliant and clever to boot. Okay, so a Mercury ruled person is just clever. They're going to come up with something funny and clever and just witty to say. And the second one is, universal mind is my essence, because you guys are all about the mind. You're all about the mind, and what goes on in your mind is just what we need. So we need that Mercury energy to bring the intellect and the logic into things. Okay. So that's it for the Mercury ruled people. And now we go to our final card selection, card number 10. Okay. And card number 10 is the moon. Whoever chose the last card pile, not pile, because these aren't piles, but the last card is the moon. Now, the moon is, you are ruled by the moon. You are ruled by the same sign, the same planet that rules the sign of Cancer. So you are emotional, you're caring, you are nurturing, you're feminine, you are motherly, you are a guide, like a light in the darkness, like the moon. So you guide people. You tend to be a homebody. You're very nostalgic. You love feeding people, caring for people. Again, nurturers. You're a real helper, and you tend to have this wisdom about you. This womb this wisdom that comes from the essence of the, of creation, basically, because the moon is about the mother. The moon is the mother. Saturn is supposed to be the father, planetary wise. The moon is the mother, planetary wise. So you are like the mother. But moon ruled people also tend to have a great business sense. They have a good understanding of business, but in terms of the emotional aspect of things. But again, very emotional, very able to help people express their emotions, very caring people. But in a sense that if you're moon ruled, you may be caring, but you're also able to not get too wrapped up in the emotion. It's like, even though moon ruled people may appear to be like so soft and like just too emotional, there's something about moon ruled people that is very tough and very strong, and they again have this business way about them. They have this way where they can keep a strong backbone because they understand emotions so well. They also know how to navigate them in a way that not everybody does. So moon rule people make great counselors, obviously, great counselors, great mentors, people who can help you not just understand the psychology of it, but the emotions that go along with it, to how to express them in a way that's healthy and in a way that's beneficial, and to connect with other people because of that, because they are such caring people, such nurturing people. So we definitely need our moon ruled people. We need our moms. They're kind of like the moms of the zodiac, the mom of the friend group, the mom of the family. No matter where you are in the family, if you're moon ruled, you are kind of like the mom, because you are the shoulder that people cry on. You're the one who will give great advice emotionally, from an emotional aspect of it. And you guys are the helpers. You help, and you just have these amazing amazing hearts if you're moon ruled. So the affirmations that I wrote for moon ruled people is, my loving nature opens all doors. And the second one is, I touch with a tender hand. So those are two great affirmations I feel like sum up moon ruled people. We need the moon ruled people. You guys are, yeah, you're heart led, but you're also um, just caring people. And we all need a friend who is ruled by the moon to kind of navigate the emotions. And we can all learn from those who are ruled by the moon to get in touch with our emotions. I know for me, being a Uranus dominant person, uh, um, I don't always embrace my emotions because I'm always in my head. But it's important because if you don't take time to understand the emotions of things, um, we are human. It's going to spill out in an unhealthy way when, if you took the time to actually sit and reflect and think what your emotions you're processing, um, it can help you to be more, you know, successful and effective for whatever you're doing, basically. So that's it for this read. This one I really liked a lot personally because I like the fact that again, astrology can be a lot, okay? And I get my charts done. I've paid for my charts to get done. I do charts. I've been a nerd for a long time for astrology, and there's always something to learn. Always. I mean, I just learned about a new planet I never even heard of, and the influence and stuff like that. It's just always something to learn. But I like the fact that I was like, I want to do a reading that's just, which planet kind of dominates the chart. I chose two cards, and the two cards that I chose, yeah, they go along with perfectly for my dominant, because we all have all of these influences, because we're influenced by all the planets. All of us are. When you do charts and you do your houses, you're going to have the influence somewhere on your chart of all planets, because we live on Earth, and Earth is influenced by all of the planets. But your dominant energy, the energy that dominates you and how you affect the world and how you affect your journey and your purpose here on Earth, that's basically what I wanted to put together, so you could have an understanding of your dominant energy and how it translates. And you can do more research on it. You can do more research on just that, you know what I mean, on just your dominant planet and the effects and what it means and some of the affirmations. So again, I'm going to put that information in the comments. Llewellyn.com has some affirmations on there, but there's tons of informations out there on the internet. So we thank you for the Mercury ruled people and everybody who puts information out on the internet for research, for whatever purposes. But I think it's important to, again, know thyself, and it helps you to understand why you're here and what you're here to do, and understand the energy that you bring to the table, so you can work with that energy and be more effective within that energy for your life journey and enjoyment. So thank you for tuning in. And if you are liking and you haven't subscribed, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell notification, because I'm going to be recording a lot more. That is something that I've been working on, some great, other projects that I need to bring to the channel, because I feel the need to do it. And I am so grateful for those who are, following me. And again, this is a timeless video. There's no, whenever you click on it is when you read it. It's not based on any time period. This is just based on when you are meant to find it, because I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I'm a big believer in, things happening when they're supposed to happen on your personal timeline. So that being said, feel free to also give me a follow for my business page on Instagram. It's called @Allison'sCookie. I love to bake and create. I have a unique way of bringing baking to the world, because again, it's called Hope and Cookies. My business is about providing hope and being hope in the world. So I love to bake, and I have some self-care items on there. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I don't do any readings or anything like that. You know, I mean, not like to the public, but who knows? It may happen. But for the most part, I'm just about sharing hope and being a good humanitarian and being a good human as much as I can. To be out there with some great products and some yummy cookies and all of that good stuff. So check me out on @Allison'sCookie on Instagram. And my website for products, for merch, is www.hopeandcookies.com. So hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, the rest of your morning, whenever you click on this video. Wishing you the best, wishing you love, growth, healing. Ashe.